and Mrs. Homeowner is I don't want you to leave the house. Can anyone in chat tell me why I didn't want the home sellers to leave the house during the 15-minute period of the home tour?
马帅，
Does anyone see the beauty of this? When the house isn't selling, who do the home sellers blame? They blame us, right? And so when you go in today and the house isn't selling and you're asking for a price reduction, I don't have to guess. I know they're saying things to you like, well, you haven't shown the house. You know, Max, you haven't shown the house enough. George, Tanya, Gary, you haven't shown the house enough. Or how about this? Even when there's a lot of showings, they say, but you didn't show it enough yourself. It's like, oh my God. So the other 20 showings we had last week, they don't count because I didn't bring the buyer through myself. That all goes away when you do the tour of homes, because remember, every single week, I'm bringing through 15 or 20 buyers through their home. They've seen this with their own eyeballs. They can no longer say that my marketing isn't working or I'm not bringing people through the house. I get to say, after a couple weeks, Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, unfortunately, the 40 buyers that we brought through are not interested in your home at this price. That's their words, not my words. Max Jordan's like, I love it, right? Now, so this becomes part of my listing presentation. So I'm using the Sunday tour of concept, not a concept anymore, proven strategy. I'm using this as part of my listing presentation to differentiate myself from all the other real estate agents. Now, what are the benefits towards for buyers? The buyers today, like in the U.S., you know, the buyers have to sign a buyer agreement before they go look at a house. The exclusion to that is open houses. I'm just saying, I know all the Americans know that, but for the Canadians, they might not know that. So in the U.S., Canadians, this is for you. In the United States, since last August, a buyer can't just
欢迎大家来我这
run
频道，
houses
我们在讲这个地产的。
without getting a buyer agency agreement signed. So like buyers, if you just want to go look around a house, it's like, oh my God, I got to meet with an agent. I got to commit, got to sign a buyer agreement. The exception to this is open houses. Buyers in the U.S. can still run around and look at a whole bunch of open houses. That's why if you're in the U.S. right now, my American friends, you see the benefit of you doing this. You would have the only organized way where buyers can look at a whole bunch of houses without having to commit or sign a buyer agreement. Can anyone say in chat, oh my God, I get this? You are in a category of one. And for Canadians, it works just as well. You're going to get all the buyers to come. You've created something that's convenient. This is the only organized way in your city, in your town, in your neighborhood for the buyer to see a whole bunch of houses in one afternoon. Now, guess what these buyers also own? Can anyone please help me with why we're really doing this? Why are we trying to attract these buyers? The buyers have what? What's the prize? The buyers have homes to sell. Bingo. Ian Walterhouse, Stouffville, Ontario. He's nailed it. Yes, they have a home to sell. Luttrell Kirk gets it. This is our mechanism to get people to get listings. The easiest way to get a home seller to list their home with you is get them super excited about another house. Find them a house they like better than the one that they're in now, and they will list it with you. However, the opposite is true. How many of you would agree that you have people that want to move in your database right now? They have a house to sell, but they wouldn't dare list their home, no matter what, until you can find them another property. So trying to get sellers excited to list their home when they don't know where they're going to go doesn't work. That's why that's kind of ass backwards. We're not going to do it that way, right? Now, I don't care if you have any listings. In fact, here's a controversial statement. For some of you, it might be better if you don't have any listings of your own right now. You're like, oh my God, Craig, what do you mean by that? Okay, here's what I mean. When I started in real estate and I finally got listings, do you guys think I was getting great listings, like trophy homes? Or is it more likely I was getting crappy listings? What do you guys think in the beginning I was getting? Because I was not getting nice listings, I was getting crappy listings. I felt compelled to open house the crappy listings. Why? Well, because that's how it's done in our industry, right? You go and you get a listing. I can't get good ones. Believe me, if I could get good listings, I would have been doing that. It's not like I could get this beautiful golf course home, but I choose to get the 2-bedroom home with the in-ground pool that should have been filled in 30 years ago. So my mistake back then, my mindset, right, was I got to open house what I have. Is there any rule or law in real estate, any real estate law that says you have to open your own listings? Yes or no? So I don't want you to be confined by what you have. How about this? Let's go get what you want instead of being confined by what you have. How many of you are having one of these moments here? So that's what I did. I ain't got no listings, but I became friendly with the top agents at the RE/MAX office. They got there's this area called Glenway Estates. They got all these beautiful homes, golf course homes. This guy's doing pretty good. He doesn't want to work on the weekends. I get it. He's making lots of money. I come in. I borrow his listings. I sell some of his listings, but all the buyers that buy these listings, I get the buy-in. He gets the listing sold, and I pick up the seller's listing. Made a couple $100,000 the first year doing that. Okay? So you're going to have some okay, first of all, before I go further, can anyone tell me what's wrong with this idea? See, that's the way I got to go about things, because if you can't say what's wrong with it, you have to agree with it. But I know human nature, right? Like, okay, we want to think about what's wrong with things instead of what's right with things. So you don't have to have any listings. It works the way you say it works. Okay, Dennis says, I'm with Real and can only do open houses for agents who are with Real. That's fine. So do it that way. If you remember what I said a minute ago, I was with RE/MAX and I had 55 other RE/MAX agents in the office. So I cherry picked the best listings. Now, not every agent would let me do this, by the way. Let's talk about that. So there's 55 agents. Let's say there's 5 agents or top agents at my RE/MAX office. I'm with RE/MAX. They're with RE/MAX. I can open house another RE/MAX. They're my brokerage, right? They're with my brokerage. One of the guys said no. So some of you were running, oh, well, God, I tried this, but this agent, I asked if I could borrow their listings, and they said no. The answer is next, right? So I go to the next person. You don't need all the agents to cooperate. I'm sure you guys have some good relationships with some of the top agents in your company, right, at your brokerage. Now, for some of you, this has happened. You have to check this out in your area. For some of you, you're opening listings that aren't even listed with your company. Now, I'm not sure how that works, but I know we've had members say, yeah, in our area, we're allowed to do that, or with our company, we're allowed to do that. So it's up to you to know your rules. But I know one thing for sure, no matter where you are in the United States or Canada, if you work at RE/MAX or Keller Williams or whatever brand you work for, you can open up, because the listings aren't yours, right? The listings are listed with the brokerage. Okay, so we're going to set up this tour. Now, the important thing is we got to be consistent with this. And I'm going to warn you, the first time you do this, if it doesn't work, you're going to say, well, this was a stupid idea. I knew this wouldn't. You have to be consistent with this, right? It became known that every Sunday, you would be invited to the Craig Proctor Sunday Tour of Homes. Okay, every Sunday, we had 6 homes. Now, how do we promote this, right? Because an open house, as we have already discussed, is a terrible idea if nobody comes to it. It's a wonderful idea if we can create this auction effect. So I'm going to show you what Nancy does. Nancy promotes this running paid Facebook ads. And the other thing that's working really well for her is she sends an email out to her entire database with all the homes and the tours and the time that they're open. When Nancy takes a listing on, let's say she takes a listing on a Wednesday, she does not allow anyone, no agent previews, nobody's allowed to look at the house until it is opened on Sunday. Right? So nobody can preview it. Nobody can look at it. The first time and she gets that signed by the home seller. Why would the home seller do that? Because Nancy explains, hey, home seller, if you really want to, jack up the attention on your home, we need to create this auction effect. And I want all this pent up demand from when the sign goes up and we broker load it. We're going to do this tour on Sunday at 1:00. Do you agree? I need you in writing that you agree nobody is looking at your house until Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay. Now, can you do that in your marketplace? If the seller gave you instructions in writing that I know it's Wednesday, but I don't want any showings or previews on my property until Sunday at 1, are you guys allowed to do that? It's the seller's instructions. You work for the seller. And so you gatekeep this thing. It's not a pocket listing because you're not showing it either. It's not like you're showing it. You're not letting anyone in the world look at the property until Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay. So she sends out, she runs these paid Facebook ads. I think I have some here to show you. Now, do you know that our top agents that are doing this are sometimes getting 10, 20, 30 people showing up all at once at that tour of homes? And many of them do not have a real estate agent. And by the way, one of the questions you might ask, well, what if they already have a realtor? We don't care. Let him in anyway. The more bodies crammed into the house at the exact same time, the better. Would you guys agree? I'm looking for chaos. When I open that house, I want them lined up down the driveway. I want 20 people in the house bumping into each other. I want the seller there, the husband and wife, usually, right, gobsmacked, like, oh my God. We're going to have to call the police, call backup, get reinforcements. Look at all the people here. That's marketing. This is what our clientele are paying us to do. And what have we been taught to do? To sit like a dummy for 3 hours and put our little yard signs around the neighborhood. And the crazy thing is, we all know that doesn't work, but we keep doing it anyway. That is a paradigm. Okay, what's the lesson there, guys? We get into real estate. They tell us a whole bunch of dumb shit to do, right? And we do it, and we know it doesn't work, but we keep doing it anyway. We do things that don't work. We don't like it, and we keep doing it anyway. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Okay, Shane, real estate board rules, seller instructions here. Rules trump seller instructions. Must show within 24 hours. It cannot be in the MLS. Okay, then it doesn't go on the MLS, Shane. There's the answer. You've answered your question. In Shane's market, Calgary, right, Alberta, they got some crazy rules out there, by the way. You can't even offer the guaranteed sale program unless you're a broker. Yeah, Shane, I'd probably move, but if you're going to stay in Alberta, here's what you're going to do. Just don't put the house on MLS then until after can the seller let people into their home if they don't list it on MLS? Any public marketing must be on MLS within 72 hours. Great. So here's how we're going to do this, Shane. Shane's the home seller, and he says, Craig, I want to list my house. And I say, okay, we're going to open it on Sunday. Let's count 3 days back, right? 72 hours. So I'm going to list your home on Thursday or Friday. I don't know. I can't do the math. Shane, always be thinking, how can I make it work? How would Craig Proctor handle this? They throw up a roadblock and we drive around it. You're driving your car down the road and you guys see a pothole. How many of you are going to drive your car right into the pothole? I think I'm fine now.
You don't need to call me. I just needed the insurance certificate. All right. Thank you.
Drive your car right into a pothole.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. So I'm teaching you guys how to think today. Think like a renegade realtor. Andrea, how you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, just checking in. I'm doing a bit of a safety check on Andrea. She's been
Really
quiet.
safe.
She's been quiet.
Well,
Okay, so let's have a look at some of Nancy's stuff here. Okay, open house launch system. All right, objectives. Drive as much traffic to your open house as possible. Notice it doesn't say sit there like a dummy and do nothing for 4 hours. Create a sense of urgency and demand. Separate yourself from other brokerages. Get the highest price. Okay, so when Nancy puts a listing on her tour of homes, it sells on average for 10.29% over the real estate board average. Do you think she might use that in her listing presentation? Say hell yeah. Convert attendees to qualified buyers and sellers. Yes, we're not there to build a relationship. How's it going? Look at this. These are real pictures. When's the last time you guys did a trip and yet they were lined up down the street like this? Up to 100 families for high demand properties. Or you can keep doing it your way. Do not let anyone into the property before the open house. Get your sellers to agree. It's in their best interest. It creates auction effect. 20 private showings versus 20 families attending the open house. It feels like 20 times more interest. Perception is reality for the buyer. That's right, man. The buyers look around like, oh my God, if we like this, we better jump in with both feet. Look at all the other people that are also interested. Social proof. We upload the listing on MLS Monday. Do not cross-point to Zillow until Wednesday. Get your for sale sign up as soon as possible. Facebook post number 1 coming soon. Posted on Monday. Best picture of the property. Paid Meta and LinkedIn open house ads for your property starting Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday open house email blast about 2 p.m. 5 open house directional signs per open house, 1 in front of the property, 4 at the intersections. If strict HOA, placed on Friday afternoon after one's gone home, right? Bend the rules. Voice blast is sent out to 200 to 400 proximate neighbors in the area. Get agents to share the post. Okay, hang on, stop. What do you guys think of this? I am showing you proof of actual agents making millions of dollars doing this. Still, some of you are going to find a reason not to do it. I don't get it. Now, Nancy has rules. If I had Nancy on with her, she'd say, yeah, here are the 18 reasons why they told me I can't do it. I found a way. I'm not saying break the rules. I'm saying go around the rules. Let me give you a quick example of that. When I was at RE/MAX, I told you guys I had 55 agents that worked at the office. As I became more and more successful, I pretty much had every sold sign in town. Is there anybody from my marketplace here on our call
我看你
today?
发我是直
I
接
just
可
want
以
you to
跟
know
他
that
打
that's
电
not
话吗
bullshit, right? Like 1 in every 8 sold signs in my town had my name on it. I would drive down the street.
我
So
跟他说一
why am I
下。
telling
好
you this?
的，好的。
Because buyers
bye-bye,
would call
谢谢。
off of my for sale signs and they would want to talk to me. But at every office, there's receptionists, people that answer the phone. And unbeknownst to me, some of the other RE/MAX agents would pay a lot of attention to the ladies at the front desk. I don't know if they're all ladies, the people at the front desk. And they might bring them in a Tim Hortons coffee and chat them up and ask them how their weekend went. Well, I find out that these sign calls are going to the other RE/MAX agents. They're not going to me because my other RE/MAX associates had created personal relationships
喂
on certain different levels with the
，Jenna
people
吗
answering the phone. So
？Jenna 在吗？
on my for sale signs, I changed the
啊
phone
，Jenna 啊，
number.
我
I
是
don't have
Christina。
the
哎
main，
你
RE/MAX
我上次让你
number. Damn,
发
I'm
那
not
个
doing
杜
that
卡那
anymore.
个，你发
I
回给我了
registered
没
my
有？
own phone number. 905-830-9111. Call Craig Proctor direct. I've got my own people that answer the
哦，
phone.
是
I'm not doing
一
this
直浪
anymore.
费在这个上面。
Real
我已经
estate
填
board
好
comes
了呀，
along.
等我
And
找
they're
一
like,
下，
you
我先
can't
发
do
你把
that.
邮
You
箱
can
给我
only
一
on
个
your for sale signs.
message
You
给我一
have to
个，
have a phone number that's opened by the brokerage.
应付
So
什么？
Shane, that was the problem. They said
你还是再
no.
发我一下，因为你们还有一个
And I
text 的，
think,
如果有点
how can I
confused，
get
有
around
两
that?
个。
I go down to the broker's office. I'm on the second floor.
哦，那你
And I
看
say,
一
I
下，
would like to
拜拜，
transfer
尽
my
快帮
phone
我找。
number to you. You own it now. Problemo solved. Now, my broker owns 905-830-9111, and those phone calls are going to me. This is the attitude you guys are too easy to push off the puck. Shane, I know you're a hockey fan, so you totally get that. You guys understand about too easy to push off the puck? Don't be too easy to push off the puck. You get a little bit of resistance. Someone says no. You know what's worse than that is when you hear a rumor of what you can't do. Oh my God, I know coaching agents over all these years, how many real estate agents fight me? Oh, we can't do this. We're not allowed. I'm like, who told you that? Well, I heard it from this person who heard it from a broker. And when they check into it, it's not even true. They're literally limiting their business and operating on rumors. You know, whenever the real estate board would say to me, you can't do this, do you want to know what I would say? Show me where it says that in writing. Do you want to know how many times they couldn't produce that? Well, I guess if you can't show it to me in writing, it doesn't exist.
好吧，
The knee-jerk reaction is for the associations to want to
对
stop
的
you
对
from
的，
being
所以
a
让
top
你看一
producer.
下，你看
To
一
do
下
it the
这
same way as
有什么
everyone
问
else,
题
because
再
their
问我。
motivation is we want as
谢
many
谢，拜拜。
thousands of gazillions of
那就行，拜
agents
拜。
all barely scraping by paying our real estate board fees. They don't want guys like you selling hundreds of houses. Every time one of you guys starts to sell hundreds of houses, you're pushing a whole bunch of other board fees out the window. Do you guys agree with this? I'm trying to get you guys riled up here today. The world is against you. If you want to be successful, the world is against you. What do you think, Kwang? Kwang says yes. You see, Kwang is a renegade realtor. What is a renegade realtor? And this is why, you know, I'm not Tom Ferry. I'm not middle of the road on anything. I'm not like, well, you know, you could do it that way. You could do this. You know, there's lots of different ways to be successful. Nope. There's a best way. There's a best way. Let's just agree. That's bullshit. There's lots of different ways to be successful. There's probably a best way for you to get buyers and sellers and do open houses, and there's a best listing presentation. That's what we're focused on today. So my job is to show you the opportunity and then to cut through all the automatic garbage you're going to come up with is why you can't do these things. We're literally trained since we're children to not take risks. Oh, be careful. Don't step off the curve. Watch crossing the street. You might, what are we not going to step off the curve? We're not going to cross the street anymore, right? Don't take any chances. Without risk, you cannot hit the ball out of the park. Can we agree on that? Okay. I got myself all riled up. I've lost my place here, Andrew. Hang on. Okay, we're back at it. So this is how Nancy promotes the open houses. Consistency is key, right? She didn't do it for like a week and, oh, well, I tried it. It didn't work. 367 profile views. Impressions. I don't even know what all this means. You know, she's looking at the traffic on her ads. What I care about is did people show up? Okay, here's her post on Monday. New listings coming soon. And then she sneaks in, your home sold, guaranteed, or I'll buy it. This is the Wednesday post, paid ad, upgrade to this home and I'll buy yours. Property highlights, Kingsway School District, upgraded bathrooms. For more information, click here, direct response. This is the email blast that goes out with a QR code and videos of all the properties. Tour begins this Sunday, October 15th from 1 to 2. Upgrade to one of these lovely homes and Nancy will buy yours. Here's what the open house sign riders, guys, take a picture, pull your camera out. This is the formula to the world's best chocolate cake. Okay, so she's doing this one 1 hour long. Do not do it during the local football game. She found that out the hard way. Before admittance, okay, break the ice. The agent at the door should make a connection with the interested buyer. Oh, hi, what's your name? And Andrea says, it's Andrea. Oh, hi, Andrea. I'm Craig Proctor with ABC Real. Do not ask someone to sign into the open house before establishing the connection, she says. So it's like, hey, Andrea, come on in and sign this. She doesn't do that. Ask where they're traveling from. Talk about a local sports team. Crack a joke about being, hey, I'm the bouncer here. Anything. This disarms the prospect. Kindly ask the buyer to sign in via the QR code. So they scan.
Hello, Jenna 吗？
Tell them
啊，
the
亲爱的，
seller
我
just
发你了
wants to
啊，
know
但是因为我那
everyone
个邮
is coming to the
箱就
house.
是用
Let
另外
them
一
know that they'll be
个，
receiving
就是之
a
前你那个就
confirmation
发宏
text.
伟那个
Once
给你
they
的
once they show it to you, they're
info
going to be
宏
allowed in.
宏伟
So
那个，然
this
后
is
还
how
有
they
一
get
个
the
事儿
feature
就是
sheet.
说你
They get the
上
information
面写
by
的是
scanning the
Manulife，
QR
但是
code.
是杜卡
That's
的
how they
啊，
get the feature
就
sheet.
是
But they got to
那
enter
个我
their
没办
name
法
and their
改
cell
了，
number.
对对对。
If you don't hear
然后
a
另
ding,
外一
that
个
means they give you a
另外
full
一
phone
个
number,
事
right?
儿的话，对你能尽快给我
Okay,
搞吗？
let's open up the comments. Any questions on this so far?
啊，尽快帮我搞。这是一件事儿，另外一件事儿的话，
I only see Craig. Am I not
我
showing
想
this?
想
No,
看
you're，showing it.
对
I'm working-
你们能不
I'm
能帮
working
我
with
跟那
time.
个杜卡联系啊？
I think,
因为
like the
他们
mobile
说一
phone
般
is
都
an
是
issue.
通过
Sometimes
你
you have to
们来
rotate it
联
or
系那个
swipe
iFay
left
的
or
事
right
儿，
to see the
我自己
screen.
联系有点怪。
Had me worried there for a bit, Andrew.
No, I got worried too because it was
没
the
有
first
啊，
time
我
and
这
stuff
边
like
好像
that.
都是那
Well, I
个
usually
保
like
险
it,
经
but
纪地，
I
好几
say
次
please.
了。他们不管是做投资的 loan
After admittance.
还是这个
Okay, after
iFay，
admittance, we use
好，我
the
们自己地
universal
很奇怪，
callback
因为
script
你看他
from
签
Craig
字都要你
Proctor.
们签，
Universal,
你
we
们
can
调
use
很多
it
材
in
料。
any situation script, in the
反正你先
elevator,
把那个
at the
表弄
open
了吧，
house.
我们走一步算一步，
When
快
they
一点
call
啊，
you,
加油，
you call
请。
them, you're taking them
好，
through
谢
the
谢，
same
拜拜。
script. How long have you been looking for? Are you signed with an agent? Are you happy with your agent? Have you gotten pre-approved yet? Do you know that most deals happen off market, not on Zillow? Would you like access to off market listings? Do you currently own a home you rent? If you own a home, do you want to buy first? Do you want to sell first? Why are you moving? You guys want to take a picture of that? It's in the universal callback script, but go ahead. I'll give you a minute to do that.
And we had a few questions about this. I do believe this is in the file library. If you just search tour of homes, you're going to find all the resources we have available for our members. I know this was a PowerPoint from an event that Nancy came to. We have a couple of questions. I'm local to Nancy. This is from Dennis, a newer member. Any idea how I can collaborate in open house with her? Well,
yeah, you know what I would do? I would just go over and join her team. That's what I would do, honestly. If you're starting off, like you could join someone's team if you're struggling or whatever. Or just do what Nancy did, right? In the beginning, Nancy was new at this, didn't do any of this stuff. She wasn't making millions of dollars or whatever she's doing now. Got to start somewhere. This is what it looks like when you get to the open house. She's got the nice little QR code. Oh, if you want, this is how you get the information. She's got pictures of everyone on her team. Okay, QR code informed, digital, no paper needed. Verifies the phone number. Buyers get a digital brochure. Automated follow-ups. You fill this in. This is easy, right, Andrea? Your name, Andrea, your phone number, 1-800-ANDREA, her email, Andrea@CraigProctor.com. Are you looking to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Yes. Are you working with an agent? No. These are the questions in the universal callback script. They hit submit. Now you need to hear bing. That's good. That means they didn't give you an incorrect phone number. And you tell them that. As soon as you hit send, you're going to get a bing. So they're like, oh, crap, man, I got to put my right number in there because they're going to know if I don't. Follow up. Split up the leads of the agents on your team. Follow up with everyone, even if they don't have an agent. Follow up with everyone, even if. I think that should say even if they do have an agent. Of course, I would follow up with everyone if they don't have an agent. Follow up before 6 p.m. the same day. So if the open house is over at 2, like they're being followed up right away. This is how you convert attendees to clients. If agents don't make contact, the ISA, so inside sales agents, get these leads, add it to their list, and they follow up throughout the week. 0 to 5 attendees. Oh, KPI. This is good. This is what she says to the seller. If I've got 0 to 5 attendees, she tells the seller, your property is slightly overpriced. If we've got 5 to 10 showings, the property is appropriately priced, close to sales price. If we get 10 to 20 showings, the property is right in that sweet spot of a list price and creating the auction effect. 20 plus showings, the property is priced slightly below market, and you should expect offers significantly higher than the asking price. So she's using the attendance KPIs to gauge the pricing on the property. What do you guys think? Where can you find the PowerPoint? If you're a coaching member, you can find it in the file library.
Right. If you
Okay.
I just want to suggest, and I was looking at those comments, just type tour of homes in the file library, and you're going to find everything that videos, PowerPoint, training. This specific PowerPoint was a training PowerPoint. You really wouldn't use this for anything. This is other than just examples, but you can find and take screenshots
Well, hang on.
of
First of all, are we not recording all of this?
We are, and that's kind of what I was trying to get to. I'm fumbling around.
Stop fumbling, Andrew. Everyone's getting a recording of
I
this.
just I want to go, it's there, I promise. Yeah. Just type in tour of homes and you're going to find everything you need.
Right. We also have in the file library something called the Sunday Tour of Homes Manual that's even better than this. Okay. This is our third biggest. Okay. So, of all the ways that Nancy sells millions of dollars of real estate, the tour, the open house tour, is her third biggest source of buyers and sellers. The auction effects. Now, here's how it benefits the sellers. The sellers, on average, if they sell during the tour, they sell for 10% more than the average sale price of homes in the neighborhood. We convert attendees to buyers and the buyers to sellers, right? First, you get them as a buyer, then you get this seller. And when they list their home with you, you can do it all over again with their listing, right? I reel in the buyers have listings, I get their house listed, and I do it over and over and over, and I make it bigger and better. Okay. What's this? Another way to generate buyers from listings, allow buyers to schedule directly with the listing agent. No smoke and mirrors. Buyers becoming more averse to texting and calling. Okay. So let's take some questions on this. And I think I have another presentation here, I think, too. But we'll take questions first.
Well, and you were talking about Gavin's thousands of dollars at spending no money on ads, tens of thousands. I have that open house guide that he shared with us at that time. If you wanted to share that, I really do. And I'm going to try to make it big for you because I know my screen's always really small.
Can you make it smaller?
I can.
How many of you want Andrew to make that smaller?
Is that big enough or no?
Only if it only needs to be bigger if you want us to read it.
Okay.
Okay, that's better.
There we go.
Okay, so what are we looking at? This is.
So this is Gavin. We were speaking about this earlier, how he's made tens of thousands without spending any money on ads, and open houses was number one on his list. And he talks about getting the open house prep, goes all the way into the follow-up. He had 9 open houses, 5 to 10 people came through, sometimes more.
Can you drop that in the chat?
I can. And something we talked about earlier in the week, we were talking about the lawyer letter. He also used that. So the stats are there. Contacting lawyers, a lot of people had questions. Here's some of the ads. But I will drop this in chat. I will have to save it and close it, but I'll drop it in as soon as I do that.
Perfect. Okay, so let's open the discussion here. What do you guys think of this? How many of you are going to jump on this? Even if you don't, I mean, obviously, if you've got great listings, do it. But I would rather, if you don't have great listings, I'd rather you not do these with your listings. We're not doing this to, despite what you've been programmed to believe, we are not doing the open house anymore to placate the home seller. The only reason you are doing your open house is to cherry pick the best listings in town. And this is a huge lead magnet. You're going to be efficient. Instead of sitting like a dummy for 4 hours in one house, in less time, you're going to open up a whole bunch of houses. Why do we want a whole bunch of houses open? It takes you no longer to open 3, 4, 5, or 6. Mine were 6 houses open in the same time period as sitting at one house for 3 hours. The reason I want lots of houses open, I want 6 on my tour. Okay, first of all, what if I got a dud? What if I have one of the 6 nobody comes to? Well, I'm sure as hell glad I'm only there for 15 minutes. How about you guys? Right? I'm not sitting there like a dummy for 4 hours. If one of the 6 isn't of interest to buyers, I'm really happy I'm only committed to 15 minutes. Boom, lock the door, move to the next one. The other reason I want a bunch of houses open, I want 6 or 5, a lot on my tour, is because the more houses I have, the more buyer magnets I have, the more buyers coming out, right? If I got one house open, I got only the people interested in one house. I got 6 houses open. I'm going to get way more people coming in. And I do want the seller to be present. I want the seller to be there. It's like, hey, if your house doesn't sell, it's not my fault. It's only 15 minutes. We don't need them kicked out of the house. Like, I don't want them interacting or talking to the buyers. Just sit there. 15 minutes, it's all over. I want to demonstrate the strength of the Craig Proctor marketing. I want to blow them away. It's like, I want them, when I leave, to say, well, you know what? He did what he said he was going to do. Right? He said he'd blow the lid off. He said he'd bring through 10, 15, 20 buyers every weekend. He's doing his job. Right? And if we're not getting offers, if it's not selling, really easy for you to go back to the seller. Like Nancy's saying, like, we got 0 to 5, that means you're overpriced. If you got 5 to 10, that means we're okay. If you got over 20, we should be getting some multiple offers here. So we can use the KPIs from the open house tour to leverage with the seller. You're going to use how you describe your unique marketing in your listing presentation to get listings. Right? The way you explain how you do open houses versus the way everyone else does open houses, or they don't do them. A lot of agents don't do them at all because they get no results. And I'm all for that. I don't want you guys doing anything that's not getting you results. Some of you are in the habit of doing a whole bunch of things that don't work for you. You're doing things that you don't like, that don't get you results, and you keep doing it. I'm giving you permission. Stop doing stuff that doesn't work. Replace it with stuff that does. But don't be afraid to try. Yeah, this is not how everyone else does it. Yes, the real estate rules are more confined. They want everyone listing a house, immediately broker loading it, the information going to Zillow or these portals. So you work hard to get a listing. You're not getting the calls on your listings anymore. They're going to a Zillow agent. Or whatever portal, if you're in Canada, it might be House Sigma or whatever. Do you guys see the problem with the way they've got set up? You're a pawn in someone else's game. Or you can find a way to break free of what the little game they've set up for you and say, you know what, I don't want to play that game. I want to play my game. How does that benefit your home seller? Just think about that. Andrea lists her house. We love Andrea. Andrea wants to sell her house for the most amount. Now, if Andrea, the home seller, knew that, hey, Andrea, when I list your house, the real estate board says I need to broker load your listing within 24 hours. Now, the crazy thing is even though we're friends and I've known you for all these years and I know your house inside and out because I'm the listing agent, unfortunately, all the buyers that respond to your listing now that's broker loaded to basically Zillow, your listing agent, I don't get those inquiries anymore. How do you think most home sellers would feel if they knew that the listing agent, the minute they list the house, they don't get the ad calls, they don't get those calls anymore. They go to the Zillow agent. Who do you think is more qualified to represent the seller? The listing agent they hired or some random agent from a portal? So this is not right. Would you guys agree? This is not right. How many of you have not thought about this before? Or you've thought about it and you've thrown your hands up in the air. So that's just the way it is. So Nancy's like, yeah, no one's coming into the house until Sunday. Well, you can't put it on MLS. Fine. Then we won't put it on MLS until this works for us. Shane said, well, we got 72 hours. Then I'm going to list the house 72 hours before the open house. Always look to find how. Stop focusing on why you can't do stuff. And instead, take that energy in a positive way and say, how can I? I can't do it that way. Real estate board said, Craig, you can't have your phone number on the RE/MAX sign, on your for sale sign. It has to be the broker's. So I say to my broker, I'm going to transfer the number over to you. Now you own it and I can do it. I didn't look at the problem. I looked at the solution. All right. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Some good stuff there, right? Hey, there's one thing I want to share with you that I like. Last night, I'm looking through my emails, and there's this guy in Toronto. I don't know the guy. He might be a nice guy. I have no idea. But he did this, and some of you in the Toronto area might know this guy. I'll play a few minutes of this. He did this really great informational video that I think you guys should copy. You guys want to see it? How many of you would like to see it? I thought it was really good. And every once in a while, I just stumble onto something that is really good. So, with your permission, I will share it. But I need your permission. Can you guys give me the permission, please? This is permission marketing. If you don't want to see it, you can hang up. There doesn't appear enough of you interested in seeing it, so I guess we won't
do we
show
have
it.
anybody on who doesn't know what Craig means by hang up the phone? I had
Hang
a
up the
conversation
phone.
with my 7-year-old about why we say hang up
Okay.
because he's only used his
So-
cell phone.
So yes, that is an old person statement. But Andrea, when I was in Montreal a couple weeks ago with Bertrand and Archie, we did an event there. We had several hundred people come out. We go to lunch, and one of the agents on Bertrand and Archie's team was talking. She was asking Bertrand and Archie and I what a fax machine was and how it worked. And we thought how crazy that was. I don't know how old she was, maybe 25. She had no idea. She'd heard of it before, but she wanted to know how it worked. And we were explaining how a fax machine worked. We said, well, in real estate, you'd have to get down and it's coming out. It's like you'd be looking really close, like, did they say yes? Did they say no? And she thought that was hilarious, right? And we'd say, yeah, it would come out and the paper would get jammed or you'd run out of paper. And so that's when you realize how much technology is advanced from when we first got into real estate.
Greg,
Okay, I'm gonna share this.
with Ruth, I used to fax the call confirmations
Yes.
to Ruth to your office.
Correct.
Go ahead,
Okay.
share.
All right, ready? You guys ready?
A
Hit the gas.
resounding yes.
Okay, here we go. So this guy, I don't know who he is. You got any of you know this guy? I don't know, but I'm watching this and I think it's pretty good. So let's see what he's doing and if you guys can copy it.
The Toronto real estate market did something that completely blindsided me for 2026. Last month, I was absolutely certain that February of 2026 was going to be a great month compared to February 2025, which was probably one of the worst months on record, mostly caused by the Trump tariffs. Now, looking back at 2025, it looks like the good old days relative to what we're starting to see now in 2026. I actually had to really deep dive the data this time because I'm trying to understand, did the real estate market break character, meaning we're no longer following anything seasonal? Is this an issue of property or sales mix where maybe certain types of properties are dragging everybody down? Or is it based on some sort of areas that they're really underperforming, dragging everybody else down? So we're going to start up with our favorite graph. This is the call it good news graph, if you would even want to call it that. This is GTA median price, and it's finally clawing its way out of the hole. It's following seasonal trend, which is basically the real estate version of showing up to work on time. I mean, it's great. It's happening. We have trend. We know we're going to probably keep climbing into March and April, and it probably is going to fall off a cliff like the last 3 years. That being said, the good news ends here. We're going to take a look at activity just quickly so that you understand a bit of context in terms of how pricing homes and a little bit of the behavior on the buyer and seller side. So this is activity as per Broker Bay, which is our internal system in the back end where we see offers and showings for particular areas, something I keep a very close eye on. So showings are up year over year and month over month. Now, on average, a listing is getting about 23 showings before it actually sells. And that's basically a lot of people walking through your house, judging your choice of backsplash and then doing absolutely nothing about it, which is totally normal. Why is this important? This slide summarizes a lot of the conversations that are happening right now with sellers on listings that have been sitting on the market for a while. So showings are as good of an indicator as you're going to get right now in this market in terms of how overpriced your property is. So let's say in a typical listing, obviously this will vary on where you are, but if you get less than 5 showings in a month, and I know that sounds crazy, you're probably overpriced to the tune of 10 to 15%, if not more. If you're getting, a couple of showings here and there, some low ball offers over, 2 to 3 weeks, likely you're overpriced between 5 and 10%. The reason this is important, it kind of tells you the disparity in terms of values and expectations between buyers and sellers right now currently. And now here's what you came for, the bad news. First, a little bit of good news here is that new listings are actually at seasonal trend. This is the first time this has ever happened in probably 4 years. I haven't looked back all the way, but this is interesting. I don't think this is telling of a trend, or it's not a new trend that's starting, but it is interesting nonetheless. It is, as it's the only kind of normal thing that's happening right now. But this is where the issue is. Sales are still in the basement. So last month, I would have been willing to bet some money that sales would have been really way up relative to February of 2025. And they were not. They were actually lower. So this is why I was blindsided. It's kind of like the stats were listening to me, and I said, hey, February of 2026 are going to be great. And then they said, you know what, hold my beer, watch what I'm going to do. So here we are, the worst February now on record. The new record has been set. Will this continue into the future? I mean, it's hard to say. I have said in the past, the first 60 days of any year kind of set the trend for the rest of the year. So if we're to go based on that metric, we're in for probably a worse